As 2022 winds down, I wanted to review some unusual products, not the same old things, right? From all the names that you've been hearing forever, right? So I just did the DS Audio E1 phono cartridge system. That's an optical cartridge, definitely not the same old thing. And today, the Electrocompaniet ECI80D integrated amplifier. Now, Electrocompaniet, well, they have a history. They definitely do. They were founded in 1973, meaning next year will be their 50th anniversary year. That's pretty cool. But yet they've had a very low profile in the United States. So anyway, this amplifier, the ECI80D, is obviously an 80 watt per channel into 8 ohm design, 150 watts a channel into 4 ohms, and it is, yeah, a Class AB amplifier, not a Class D. But I just love the look. It's so elegant and understated. The front panel is acrylic, and it has just 5 brass buttons. Volume up, volume down, input select, and standby. All the other controls, yeah, they're on the remote control. So I want to show you what's going on inside, what's going on under the hood, and then show you the rear panel, which hosts preamplifier outputs, then 2 sets of headphone jacks, 6.3 millimeter and 3.5, the 2 most popular sizes of jacks. And you might wonder, why are they on the rear and not in the front? Fair question. But what's unusual about the way Electrocompaniet deals with headphones is that those headphone jacks are not live all the time. You turn them on via the remote. So in other words, you can leave, if you have headphones, you can leave them plugged in all the time and only turn them on when you hear them. In other words, then the speaker output will be turned off. So there you go. Continuing, there's 2 RCA inputs, 2 coaxial digital inputs, 3 optical inputs. Oh, and there's also Bluetooth. This is one of the unusual high-end integrated amplifiers that has Bluetooth, 2-way Bluetooth, if that means anything to you. I barely understand what it is because I don't personally use Bluetooth. Oh, one more thing. There's also a moving magnet phono input. Now, it's okay. Nothing really special. Matter of fact, if you're into vinyl, if you're not into vinyl, it's just sort of a thing there. You have a turntable, you play a record or two every now and then, it's fine. But if you're into vinyl in any serious way, I would recommend stepping up to at least something like a Schiit Mani 2, which is $149, way better than what's inside this Electrocompaniet. Or even a little better than that is the MoFi Studio Phono, which is $350. So if you're into vinyl, yeah, I would say get a better phono preamp. But if you're not into vinyl, it doesn't make any difference. The internal DAC, the internal PCM DAC, is actually pretty darn good. I liked it a lot, and it goes up to 192 24-bit, but there's no MQA, there's no DSD, there's no super duper ultra high res. It's not there, and again, if that's your thing, you should probably buy an external DAC. But for the way I use it, and I think for most people, 192 PCM it will be more than adequate, and it actually sounded really, really nice. I used it pretty much exclusively throughout my review. The speaker binding posts are pretty understated for an amplifier of this price. Oh, and the price is $3,900. It is available, the ECI80D is available in black or white. I was going to say silver. Black or white finishes. I'm going to put up the specifications, and as I'm saying that, I will also make note that there will be an Audiophiliac viewer system of the day later on in today's show. I am going to do a couple of brief comparisons with other amplifiers over the course of this review, and one of them is the Hegel H95. Hegel is also based in Norway, but they build their amplifiers in China. So that one is cheaper, and it's similarly featured. It's $2,200. And I'm also going to be doing a brief comparison with the Bel Canto C6i, which is another integrated amplifier, and that one is Class D though, and yeah, it sounds different. So anyway, stick around for those comparisons. And I'll also be playing the ECI80 with a few different speakers. As I mentioned earlier, the ECI80's front panel offers minimalist controls, right? Just volume and input selection and standby. Everything else is handled by the remote. And in this case, the remote is plastic. Nice looking, but not the best feeling in your hand remote. But I just want to make note, this is a trend I see over and over again where so many amplifiers, so many preamplifiers and integrated amps come with these not very attractive, not very great feeling plastic remotes. Matter of fact, a few years ago when I reviewed a $10,000 Audio Research preamplifier, it came with a plastic remote that was nothing special. So it's not just Electrocompaniet. I see this over and over and over. The Hegel came with a plastic remote, but actually it was an optional metal remote. And the Bel Canto C6i integrated amp that I do some comparisons with here also comes with a plastic remote. So it's kind of the way it's going, unfortunately. For my listening sessions, I wanted to start with something truly classic. In this case, Neil Young's Harvest. Yeah, and I was streaming it from the Neil Young archives in 192 24-bit digital. And yet, the sound was so analog, so layered, so sweet. The acoustic tracks were just so right, so natural. I was thinking, wow, man, it's a great transfer is what I'm saying. And yeah, the electric stuff had a nice bite to it and everything. But Neil Young's vocals, man, they just sounded, yeah, you know, going back to the CD and stuff, it doesn't sound as good as this. And I don't have an original album, as it turns out, so I couldn't play the LP. But I was very happy with where we were starting with the ECI80D. Good beginnings. So jumping ahead in time, I went to Tom Petty live at the Fillmore 1997. And I love his covers. I mean, his version of Booker T and the MG's Green Onions, just the groove, man, it just lays out that groove. And Goldfinger, the James Bond theme song, wow. But it's just the way this band just is this rhythm machine, and Tom just kind of glides over it. They were just having so much fun, and you could feel it. That was coming right through the speakers. Oh, and the speakers I'm using in these initial rounds, by the way, were Zu DW6. High sensitivity speaker. I was playing the music really loud and totally digging it. Jumping into the present time with my friend David Chesky's album called Hi-Fi Collective. Yeah. And this is an ambient, like trip-hop, weird music thing. It's not like an old style Chesky recording that was all about live to 2-track stuff. This is a 100% studio creation, and it sounds great. It's just got textures and all kinds of stuff going on, but the bass goes low. Really, really, really shockingly low. And I was amazed how much low end I was getting out of the 10-inch full-range drivers on the DW6 speakers, the Zu DW6. I mean, like, is there a subwoofer on? No, but it sounds like this one because it was just extraordinary. And it's really high quality bass. It's not just thick and muddy bass. No, it's got real texture and detail and nuance going on down there. So anyway, you could check it out. I think it's on Tidal and maybe Spotify. Not on Qobuz as far as I know. To continue, I want to do a comparison with the Hegel H95 integrated amplifier, continuing with the David Chesky Hi-Fi Collective. And I will tell you right away, the ECI80 was the more transparent amplifier, significantly so. Significantly more, well, transparent and detailed and dynamic, and had just a little bit more life to the sound. And the Hegel just kind of dialed it back a bit. You know, the bass wasn't as well controlled. It was a softer, richer tonality, which I like as well, coming out of the Hegel. But in terms of transparency and high res and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I think the ECI80 was the champ. The DW6 is a great speaker. It's a very high sensitivity speaker. It's actually really easy to drive. I wanted to swap in something that takes more effort, and that one turned out to be the Buchardt S400 MKII, which is a stand mount speaker, as you can see, but it has a rear passive radiator to augment the bass response. So even though it's a lot smaller than the DW6, it still managed to pump out a significant amount of bottom end oomph with the Hi-Fi Collective album. But also, just in terms of overall sound quality, I wanted to play something a little bit more nuanced than the David Chesky record. So I played this one. This is Dead Combo. I mean, I love this band. They were out of Portugal. They broke up just before COVID, I think, or just after COVID started. And their music is very moody, very dark, very film noir. You know, it's like you're watching a movie when you're listening to their records. And this record is more acoustic than most of their stuff. And it's great. Great record. And what I was getting out of the Buchardt and the ECI80 was just sounded right. It sounded very, very transparent, very tangible. And, you know, you feel like you can hear into the mix, into the recording so well. And I did also do another comparison with a different amplifier, the Bel Canto C6i integrated, which I will review shortly. And that is a Class D amplifier. And that one wasn't nearly as transparent. But what it did do, it had incredible oomph to the sound, more bottom end push with the Bel Canto than I was getting out of the Electrocompaniet. There's something about the sound of this Bel Canto that just kind of like grabs the speaker and pushes it harder. It just makes it sound bigger and more powerful and just more guts. It's just fun, and it's fun to play really loud. As much as I love the Buchardt, they can sound a bit reserved and polite with some amplifiers. That was not the case here with the ECI80D. You know, at this point, I wanted to move up to the PureAudioProject Duet15s. These are open baffle speakers with 15-inch woofers. And I was playing this incredible album by Tiled Childers. And this record is absolutely amazing. This is the one you really got to check out. It's kind of rootsy rock. There's some gospel in there, definitely some gospel in there. And Tyler is just this incredible singer. There's big band arrangements. There's a lot going on. And I cranked that up with the PureAudioProject and the ECI80D. And yeah, this amplifier, my point is, this amplifier can scale. It may be only 80 watts into 8 ohms, but it sounds bigger and more in control than you might think. But anyway, this record is so much fun. You know, this is one of those albums, I keep playing it over and over and over again because I just can't believe, where did this guy Tyler come from? He's so talented. He's so good. The songwriting is fantastic. His vocals are fantastic. The arrangements are big and sprawling, but don't ever, ever, ever overwhelm the music. And that's why I could just play it again and again, and sometimes really just crank the hell out of it and just be in awe of the music and the sound, and the whole combination was really doing it for me. Fantastic. All right, so now it's time for, So Steve, what do you really think? What do you really think of the Electrocompaniet ECI80D integrated amplifier? I think in terms of this class of amplifier for around this power, let's call it 100 watts a channel to make it easy, I think this is the most transparent integrated I've heard in quite some time. It's really a charmer. I love the way it looks. It's so elegant. It's got a large, easy to read display. The remote, it could be better, and if you're into vinyl, you really got to pony up for a better separate phono stage. Yeah, those are my nitpicks, but overall, it's really a very impressive piece of work. So that's it. I highly recommend it. And yeah, you can't swing $3,900 for it. Consider the Hegel H95. It's a mere $2,200. It's designed in Norway, but yeah, it's made in China. So you pay as your money, you make your choices. And now it's time for the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. I like that today's system has kind of a Christmas theme. It comes from Mark He lives in Melbourne, Australia. He is 45 years old. And Mark explains that his wife wanted new floors, so some of the system had to change to match. Good going. As for the system itself, it starts with a vintage Sansui AU1111 MOSFET integrated amplifier. There's also a Sansui SR929 direct drive turntable with an Audio-Technica AT540ML stylus. Speakers are Rogers Studio Ones on Skyland stands, and the stands, I like this, are filled with rice. The DAC is an RME ADI DAC 2. Thanks, Mark, and I hope that you and your wife have a terrific Christmas. All right, we are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. This has been an amazing year. Just an incredible year for the products that I've reviewed. I did a whole episode about speakers of the year. Usually there's 1 or 2 or 3. This year there were 6 speakers of the year. It was an incredible year for speakers. It was a great year for electronics, a great year for audio in general, and certainly for music. So thank you. Thank you for watching this far into this episode. If you enjoy what I'm doing here on the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. You can join, and payments are made in dollars, pounds, and also euros. Yes, sir. If you just like what I'm doing here on the channel, please hit the like button on every video you like. And even if you're not so sure, yeah, hit the like button anyway. And you can still subscribe. 227,000 of you guys have already done so, and if that's not you, please hit the subscribe button. And when you do, please hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time there's an amazing new episode. So anyway, happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year. Enjoy it in every way you can. Great music, great sound with your family, with your friends. Have a great time. And I hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Later.